The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Broadcasting from the campus of Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is on the air. Your chance to hear from Liberty Head Women's Basketball Coach Alexis Sherard comes your way on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is also brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. Carter Bank. Life lived full. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Lynchburg Nissan. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. Rogers Heating and Cooling, servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. And by the United States Space Force. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Mills for three. Yes! Avery Mills from 3rd Street. Liberty leads 57-51.
Now let's talk Liberty Flames women's basketball. Here's your host, the voice of the Lady Flames, Jamie Hall.
Welcome into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. We've got a great program ahead as Coach Alexis Sherard will join us and talk about the last week, the split with Missouri State and FIU. Got a great win in Springfield, Missouri, and then fell a little short. Got behind the 8 ball a little bit at the beginning of that game against FIU. Battled back, but just was too far of a hole, falling behind 24-0 at the beginning of that game. And we'll talk about what went right against Missouri State and what went wrong against FIU, again with Coach Sherard coming up here in just a little bit, as well as a preview of this week's games, big games against both Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. But right now, our special guest on this week's show is Ify Nwaobi. Ify, welcome in.
Hello.
This isn't your first time, but this is the first time that you've been on the podcast since you've been playing basketball. Let me qualify that. You've played basketball probably all your life, but since you've been on the court in college, so this is our first time kind of talking in depth about that experience. And the first question I want to ask you is, looking back now, I know at the time there probably could have been some frustrations as far as not playing last year, and times when you go, if I was out there, I could have helped out. You know, we lost this game, and boy, maybe I could have done something that would have helped us win. But overall, the experience of taking a year to just kind of watch the game, learn the system, learn your teammates, how beneficial has that been to you this year?
It's been very beneficial. I mean, I know there were times where I was sitting and, like you said, I'm healthy, I can get in, but obviously being on redshirt stops me from getting in. I think, though, looking back, it was a great idea because I did get to, sit behind the scenes and gain experience. Even getting familiar with the, locations was nice. So then coming this year, I'm like, oh, shoot, I know this place. Just having...
turnover.
Yeah, yeah. Just having, what's the word? Having experience being there and then getting to play, I think it really helped me.
So you get to see everything with no pressure.
Yeah. No
pressure on you at all.
Yeah, for sure.
So did coming in this year, it almost seems like even though you didn't play a single game, did it almost seem like, well, I've already done this?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've talked before, but for those that maybe didn't see last year's show, give us a little bit of recap, your family, where you grew up, and what got you to Liberty.
Okay, so I grew up in Canada, Calgary, Alberta, to be specific. It's on the West Coast. I have four siblings. Sorry, I was counting myself too. Two older sisters, one older brother, and one younger brother.
And if I remember right, there's some other athletes in the family as well?
Yeah, my older brother plays basketball in Canada. My older sister used to play basketball. My other older sister swam, and then my little brother is playing basketball right now.
So there's some competition even in the house. I mean, do you guys compare stats?
I wouldn't say there's competition.
Really?
No, no, I'm joking.
Are you saying you're the end all? Like there's no competition?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, my brother is pretty good. He's a lefty too. All my trainers that train me, they're always like, "Yeah, he's better than you already, like with that right hand and stuff." So
wow.
Yeah.
Have you got him in rebounding so far?
No, I haven't. I have to pull up a game to watch to see how he's been doing. If he's not been rebounding, I'm gonna get on him.
Okay, but I'm just like the stats though. You're leading the conference in rebounding, and actually I haven't looked at the most recent. You were hovering right around 10 rebounds a game. It's pretty good, especially your freshman year to come into a conference that has some pretty good bigs to lead the league in rebounding. That's got to give you a little bit of street cred back at home, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So do you text your brothers, especially as far, and even your sister that played basketball, and say, did you ever have this many double-double? Like, what's the level of competitiveness or chatter with your family?
Honestly, it's not that much. I mean, they'll pull up my games and like check the stats, watch the game. They'll let me know like, good job, you got this many rebounds. But we don't really like compare with each other, like battle it out.
Do you call for advice?
No, I don't.
No advice.
No.
Okay. Do they ever
No.
call you for advice?
My little brother does. Yeah. If he has a good game, he'll tell me how it went. Bad game, tell me how it went. So it's nice to be that like big sister that gets to give him some wise words.
So after a win that you've had a double, you career high, and you whatever, who's the first text that's going to come through praising you? And then after FIU, it didn't go well. Not so much for yourself individually, I didn't mean it like that, but just the team. It didn't go well for the team. Who's going to be the first one to say, you guys need to do this, like give you some critiquing?
Definitely my dad. We'll finish post-game talk, and then I'll get on my phone, and I see like a paragraph from my dad talking about my personal performance, and then kind of like the team giving like advice too. So yeah, that's really nice of him.
Were your parents athletes as well?
My mom did track, and then my dad played football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's, I know.
Not American football, soccer.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, still, that's, that's foot-eye coordination.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're a goalie, little hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Did you play any football, soccer growing up?
Yeah, when I was little, I played soccer.
Okay.
Not for long, though. Yeah.
Just, you got too tall?
I think I just lost interest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And when did you start playing basketball?
I believe I was 12.
Okay.
12 years old.
So kind of a late start compared to some. Some are playing something at 5, 6 years old, and maybe nothing overly competitive probably till they're 8, 9, 10. But it's a little bit of a slow start. What was your first thing that intrigued you about playing the game of basketball? Was it your sister?
My sister always encouraged me to play, but I was always like, I don't care about it. But then I met a teacher at my junior high, and she was like, oh my gosh, you're really tall. You should play basketball. And then she just kept kind of like pestering me about it. And then I was rollerblading outside one day, and we found out we were neighbors. And she told me to get off my rollerblades and play basketball with them. And then she was like, oh, you're pretty good. And then from there on, she kind of just took me under her wing and, got me into basketball.
You say rollerblades. You're in Canada. Did you ever play any either ice hockey or rollerblade hockey growing up?
I figure skated for a little.
No
but
kidding.
I was really young, yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you enjoy that?
I did.
When you say young, how young?
Like, I want to say 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's probably some of your earliest memories would be. I mean, I know some people can remember, when I was 2 years old, I remember doing this. But most people, their first memories are kind of around school age, so 5, 6 years old. So your first athletic memories are figure skating.
Figure skating and swimming. I was doing that at the same time,
So you were going after all the Olympics, winter, summer.
I was.
Okay, so the Winter Olympics just finished up, and there was so much conversation, at least in the States, and I'm sure in Canada even more, about how ice hockey went. The U.S. women won, the U.S. men won. I know you haven't been back to Canada since then, but what would you imagine that Calgary was like when the U.S. beat Team Canada in their sport? Ice hockey had to be rough up in Canada.
I know people take sports very seriously back home, and then, like you said, it is a Canadian sport, so I'm sure they were riled up. They were not happy with their performance.
How about you? When you were watching the Winter Olympics, were you into it at all, or did you watch any of the Winter Olympics? Did you watch the hockey
this year?
Yeah.
One of our managers texted me about it, and I kind of just followed up with the score. But I'm not really into hockey much. But I was like, Canada, what are we doing? What are we doing losing to America?
And and the women's in the women's hockey side of things, it's been fairly even, but Canada probably has had the edge. But on the men's side, it has been pretty much in favor of Canada since the 80s. The Russians were always good, or the Soviet Union were good, but they basically sent a professional team playing against amateurs. But since the professionals have been able to play, it's kind of turned into Canada being the dominant worldwide figure. So I can imagine that in Calgary and all over Canada, they were probably not having a very good day that Sunday when the U.S. won. And now, you may not even know this, but I think, because everybody says that ice hockey is Canada's national sport, and it certainly is probably the most popular sport, the most famous sport in Canada. But I've heard that lacrosse is actually considered the national pastime. It's kind of like baseball is to the United States, that lacrosse is to Canada. Was lacrosse popular in your area?
Not that I know of, honestly. This is news to me, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we can look it up during the break and just make sure I'm not completely making all this up. But I think it's either the national sport or the national pastime, or they call it something official. And it could be more in the eastern provinces, because even in the United States, lacrosse is more popular kind of in the northeast. If you go to, Massachusetts down to Maryland and a little bit into Virginia. Of course, we've got a good lacrosse team. And Virginia, I think ACC, a lot of good lacrosse teams, so especially on the women's side, but men's side too. It's kind of popular more in this part of the country. You go out to Texas, and there's probably not a lot of lacrosse teams, and so maybe same thing for California and Oregon, Washington, which would be closer. What American city? I'll let you answer this instead of me just guessing. What American city would you most compare Calgary to?
Ooh. I would say, I don't know my city. I don't know my geography as well in America. I would say, like,
of the places you've gone, maybe.
Is Denver a state?
Sorry. No, Denver's a city.
It's a city?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I would say Denver. No. There's a state right under Alberta. Is it Montana?
Yeah.
Montana. I don't know cities in Montana, but
you're not going to find one as big as Calgary as far as population is concerned. But as far as the weather, and is that what you're thinking?
That's
more
what
along
I'm
the lines
comparing
of?
it to. Yeah, just because it's so far up north.
What about the size of the city? What cities that you've been in that you go, oh, this is kind of like being at home?
I honestly don't know. That's a good question.
For some reason, and I've never been to Calgary, I imagine it to be something like Charlotte, maybe, as far as the size and how spread out it is and so on?
Yeah, I think that could be a good comparison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was not my best question to ask about the geography of Calgary as far as it compares to another, because not everybody's brain works like me, where I would go to someplace and go, oh, this reminds me of such and such. But it's okay. There's no Hawaii in Canada anywhere, but where do Canadians go if they're staying in their country, obviously, in summertime, when they're trying to find either a beach or the warmest weather possible? Where's the go-to vacation spot?
I would say Vancouver is very nice in terms of weather. And then also there's like a place called Banff in Alberta. It's very pretty with this like nice lake and mountains. And it is pretty warm in the summer, so it's a nice place to go as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because we always think of Canadians that would vacation in the United States in the summertime, or even Americans that might in the summer, to get away from the heat, might go to Canada. If they're hunters or fishermen or something like that, they might go up north to find to get away from the hot weather. But I think sometimes you just want to be in Miami for a few days, like or Florida or South Texas or whatever. You just want to you want it to be 95 degrees for a few days and just enjoy the hot weather, especially with how long the winters can be. I'm sure back home
it's pretty long.
Well, we got some ice and snow for you this January to kind of make you feel like you were back home.
I did feel like I was at home, honestly.
I'm sure you probably didn't miss a lot of school because of snow, because they know how to handle snow in Canada. So that's probably not even – is that even a thing? Is having a snow day a thing in Canada?
I mean, we might have had like one or two, but it's not common. Like, they know what to do. Clear the roads in a second, and we're so used to the cold, so it's like just another cold, snowy day.
Just another day.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you come to Virginia and you're saying, wow, how nice the weather is, how warm it is, the winters aren't that bad, and then you get somebody like who would be a good example, Liddy, or that of course I shouldn't say that, because she spent some time in Maine and Pennsylvania, so she was probably used to some cold weather by then.
We were flying to Miami and she had her winter jacket on still, so yeah.
Okay, so maybe not. Maybe she hasn't completely adjusted. No. But you'll find some people that the first time they ever see snow in their life is their first winter at Liberty, first winter in college. Yeah. And you're coming here going, wow, this is paradise compared to a winter at home. Yeah. So it's just funny how different there's so much, not only diversity as far as personality on this team, but just from where you guys are from and what you're used to growing up. So that makes it so. I've had so much fun this year talking to you guys, because it's from all over the world. I mean, one week to the next, you might be talking about somebody who's from a warm climate or a cold climate, or from the Netherlands or from Kentucky. It's just such a wild difference as far as where everybody's from.
It is.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about school and maybe a little basketball after we take this quick break here on the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community. And that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
You're listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Today's show will continue after this 1-minute timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Thousands of our teammates make and deliver 300 of the world's best brands and flavors, locally. From the heartland to the coast, in big cities and small towns. Our products are moving, and our trucks are rolling. We share a passion and a purpose, and we love to refresh and serve our communities. We are Coca-Cola Consolidated, your local bottler.
At Carter Bank, we believe life is best lived full of opportunities and dreams, of goals achieved and promises kept. We've been creating opportunities for more people and businesses to prosper since 1974. That means great local lending, convenient access to your money, accounts and guidance that make it easier to get more done. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Visit carterbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, this is Alan York, asking you to join the team as a member of the Flames Club. As a Flames Club member, you can make a difference by directly contributing to the success of Liberty Athletics. The Flames Club's mission is to raise the financial support needed to provide our coaches and student athletes with the resources to compete for championships. Membership levels vary and begin at just $75. Some gifts may even be tax deductible. When you join the Flames Club, you're truly investing in champions and championships. Join today at libertyflamesclub.org.
Welcome back into the show. We're here with Ify Nwaobi. And Ify, we kind of went into the break talking about weather and climate and where you were from up in Canada. But the Canadian academic system is a little different than the American academic system. Would you say that, I know you know, going by what you've seen so far, were you well prepared for college, having come through Canada?
I think that Canada's academic system, especially where I'm from, is pretty difficult. So I think that kind of made things easier to settle down in America here.
Yeah, that's always the impression I've gotten, that it is pretty difficult in Canada. And there's an extra grade or something. There's like grade 13. You don't have to do grade 13 if you go to college. I don't know. I'm confused by it. I've heard people talk, and I've never really understood it.
I just know in college it's 5 years. Like here you can get your undergrad in 4 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So maybe it's more about you go through 12 years of school, and then that grade 13 is just the extra year. It's almost like your first year of college.
I guess so.
So it's not required, but I'll try to learn more about that.
Yeah, I need to learn too.
And there was something that we were supposed to look up during the break. I already forgot what it was. And we certainly didn't do it. So whatever it was, I'll look it up in post-production. Okay. And I will put the answer on the screen right now as the sun opens up and the brightness from above comes down. Yeah. Our little light cover. It got very bright all of a sudden. I'm sure I probably look like a ghost right now. So when you're answering your next question, I'm going to fix the light.
Okay,
so let me ask that next question. What is your major? What are you studying once basketball is over? Hopefully a long time from now after you've played a professional career, but whenever you're going to go into the workforce, what is it that you're wanting to do?
So I'm majoring in HR. I want to be an HR director of a company, like a sports company. And then I also want to get my master's with sports psych in case I choose a different route and want to be a sports psychologist at a university.
But both those things are at least in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as far as where you would be. So what would be the dream job in both of those scenarios? What would be the ultimate?
HR director of like sports check or something.
Okay.
And then sports psychologist at a university working with athletes.
So you'd want to be in a college environment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
is that more? That's more of a one-on-one thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's cool. How would you say? And I know you're only 2 years into college, but that's enough to and basically you're finished with the second year. We're winding it down, so you have a good base now of kind of knowledge of not just yourself, but your family members, your friends. How would you say the mental health aspects of the game have changed, as far as there seems to be more awareness that that's just about as important as fixing a sprained ankle? The mental health side of it can shut down a career just as easily as an ACL injury can. Mm-hmm. Has things gotten better as far as high schools and colleges addressing those types of things?
I think so. I think that it's something that's been talked about a lot more. So I feel like athletes are feeling comfortable coming out and expressing their feelings with what they're going through. So yeah.
How about this group? Because usually, I mean, your teammates are the first line of defense as far as anything that you're dealing with, good or bad. But it seems like it's a close group, and everybody is kind of honest with each other if you need to be. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you need a shoulder to cry on, it seems like you guys are very good to kind of be there for each other.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is a close-knit group?
Close-knit group? Yeah, definitely. Could you elaborate on the question a little bit more so I could...
Well, it seems to me like I've been around teams where they may be great on the field, but not everybody hangs out after the games. It's kind of like everybody's individuals. They may be good as a team, but not so much off the court. But you guys seem like you're together as much off the court as you are during practices or games.
Yeah, I think that's what makes us so special. It's not often you come across like a group of girls, especially, that all like love each other and love spending time with each other. Literally, we'll have practice, and then yesterday off the court we're like trying to figure out something to get people to come to our game, like just spending more time together even off the court. So I think it's just really nice to have this team.
What are some fun things that you guys do behind the scenes that maybe the fans wouldn't know about or would be surprised about?
I mean, I would say Among Us, but I know that's been something that's been talked about a lot here.
It's a game.
Yeah, it is a game. We just like to hang out with each other a lot. Like, doesn't matter if we have practice for 3 hours, someone's texting in the group chat saying, hey, like, let's do this. Like, I think it's just the closeness, honestly.
Who on the team do you want to look down and get an invitation for dinner? It's like, oh, so-and-so's cooking dinner tonight and said we can come over, and you go, okay, that's going to be good. Like, who's the one or two players on the team that you go, oh, yep, they're cooks, they're chefs, let's go?
I couldn't give you one or two answers. I know like most people on the team know how to cook. So
really,
yeah. Anyone's texting, I'm the first one there. Yeah.
Are you ever the one texting? Are you a cook?
I can cook, but I don't like to cook. It's time consuming. You're done with practice and you have to stand up. Like, no, it's not my thing.
Does everyone, because there are so many different countries represented, are they cooking things that are native to their country?
I'm not sure, but from my knowledge, I think it's just like pasta, like chicken, pretty like common, simple things to make around here.
What would be, and this is no reflection on anybody else's ability, but if you said, okay, if you look down and you go, Claudia says she's cooking tonight, I know that's going to mean she has like this go-to, or something like that. Who's going to make your eyes or your mouth water the most whenever you find out that they're the one cooking? And I single her out because Spanish dishes seem like they're so good.
They are. I mean, she's made some Spanish omelets. They're so good. I love when she makes them. She doesn't make it very often because she doesn't cook either, but I like that. And then I would say shout out to Emmy's mom. If Emmy sends a text in the group chat, I'll always be there when Betsy's cooking for us.
What's some things that are go-tos there?
Everything. Everything. Yeah, pasta, Oreo balls, chicken, like everything.
Are you a breakfast person?
Yes, I am. That's my favorite meal of the day.
Is Canadian breakfast similar to American breakfast?
I would say so.
Is Lynchburg kind of Southern breakfast any different than what you grew up with? Because sometimes like the biscuits and gravy and things like that are grits. Some people don't have grits growing up, stuff like that. But everything's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Yeah.
There's a really cool set of videos that are on probably everything, Instagram, wherever you can, wherever they can monetize them, that have British high school kids eating American food, and sometimes they'll find some things that are gross, but some things they'll go, oh my gosh, we don't have anything like this here. And one of the most recent episodes, they brought Buc-ee's, some stuff from Buc-ee's in, and I can't remember. Have we been to a Buc-ee's since you've been at Liberty?
I have not been to a Buc-ee's.
In your life, you've never been to a Buc-ee's. Okay, well then that's something that maybe hopefully that next trip, because there is one not too far from Huntsville, Alabama, where the tournament is. So maybe
maybe
when a game in the tournament, you say we need to go to Buc-ee's and take that out. But some of the Americanized things, like they did a Thanksgiving dinner for these British kids that was basically exactly what you would have if you went to Coach Green or Coach Sherard's house for Thanksgiving. Is there that kind of, I know, of course, Canadians don't celebrate American Independence Day or Thanksgiving Day, but is there similar type traditions that you guys had growing up as far as foods that you would eat on those types of days?
I feel like I always say this to the team, like I feel like I'm an American citizen. I feel like Canada is so similar to America in certain things besides like the weather and like, so yeah, everything honestly to me is the same. There's been really no, like I haven't really had to adapt to anything since I got here, so it's pretty nice.
That's pretty good. And then you had that year of kind of even getting acclimated if there was something you needed to adapt to before you had the pressure of playing basketball. Well, I've gone along, and I apologize that I'm saving this question for last, and we've only got about 30 seconds to answer it. But you've had some experience playing on the Canadian national team as well. How has that helped your overall basketball experience?
Just playing with different girls from schools all over America. They're so talented. And then also, like, it's such a short amount of time. So it's very intense, like, quick moving. I think that really helped me transition from Team Canada to university.
Similar style?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. It's almost like if you're taking classes, it's like that intensive class, that 1 week or 2 week class that you got to cram everything in. Yeah. That's a pretty cool way of putting it. Well, the next time we talk, we'll dive a little bit more into the Team Canada stuff and what your goals are once you're outside of college as far as the game of basketball is concerned. Because if you continue playing the way that you are, especially getting those 10 rebounds a game, you may still be playing basketball when you're in your 30s, and which would be, I'm sure, would you be open to the prospect of playing professional basketball?
Would, for
That's
sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we hope you have a great rest of the season, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
That was Ify Nwaobi. We'll take a break and be back with Head Coach Alexis Sherard right after this.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels and the Liberty Flames.
For 29 years, Lynchburg Nissan has proudly served the Lynchburg area and beyond. We're locally owned and operated because this community isn't just where we do business, it's home. At Lynchburg Nissan, we're committed to delivering extraordinary service in a professional, friendly way, making the car buying process simple and straightforward from start to finish. And don't forget, we're home of the 1,000,000-mile warranty. So when you're looking for your next vehicle, please remember, nobody beats our prices. Nobody.
You're listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Today's show will continue after this 1-minute timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Rogers Heating, Cooling, Electrical, and Plumbing. Your certified Generac backup generator experts. Online at callrogers.com.
The light from a star can take millions of years to reach Earth. So when you look at a star, you're looking back in time. But I see the future. I see exploration and courage. I see my country finding new horizons out there. And I see giant leaps making a comeback. I see myself. The future is where I'll make history.
This message is brought to you by the United States Space Force. More information is available at spaceforce.mil.
Thompson Brooks Insurance has been serving Virginia for over 35 years, helping individuals and businesses with their insurance and investment needs. The team at Thompson Brooks is experienced in understanding Medicare, retirement planning, life insurance, the healthcare marketplace, and group insurance benefits. Call Thompson Brooks Insurance at 434-385-8500. That's 434-385-8500, or visit them online at thompsonbrooksinsurance.com. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
Have you downloaded the Liberty Flames mobile app? If not, what are you waiting for? The Liberty Flames mobile app is your lifeline to Flames athletics. Get the latest news on your favorite teams, find upcoming schedules, buy and download tickets to the next game, listen to podcasts, and hear our online Liberty Flames Sports Network audio broadcasts.
Pass caught into the end zone. Light them up. Touchdown, Liberty.
It's all on the Liberty Flames mobile app. Download it for free from your mobile app store today.
Back into the show. We now have Coach Alexis Sherard. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jamie.
We were looking at the standings before we came on the air, and so I'm going to jump straight into that. Normally we talk about last week's game, the upcoming games, and we just sort of throw the standings at the end. But right now, we've gotten to the point in the season that popping the standings up and letting people take a look at them are maybe more important than the games, especially for the teams that are at the bottom of the standings in Conference USA, because only 10 teams get in. So we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. WKU, a team that you're playing this week, is desperate because they're in last place right now. They're 3-11, and so we'll just kind of think more about the loss column, because some teams have more games to play. You know, they got maybe an extra game to play or something, but. They've got 11 losses. Ahead of them, New Mexico State and UTEP have 10 losses. And New Mexico State is kind of at a disadvantage because they don't have the tiebreaker with UTEP. UTEP would get in over them. So right now it's New Mexico State and WKU that are out. UTEP is just in. They have a tough schedule, but whatever their tough schedule is, New Mexico State has it too, because they're travel partners and everybody mirrors it in the women's game. It's not the same in the men's game, but in the women's game, in this case, whoever you've got the rest of the year, Delaware's got the rest of the year, and for Western, it's whatever Middle's got, you've got. So right now, at least on paper, it would seem like New Mexico State and WKU have the toughest path of getting in to the Conference USA tournament. UTEP is certainly, they can't rest on their laurels. They're going to have to try to win a couple games in order to make sure that that's the case. And Kennesaw State isn't completely out of harm's way. If they lose their last, 3 games of the season, they might be in danger of dropping out of the tournament too. So it's funny how there's different sections of this standings where teams have different goals. At the bottom, if you're Kennesaw State and UTEP, you're trying to claw your way to stay in. New Mexico State, WKU trying to get in. If you move up just a little bit, Delaware, Jack State, and Liberty are fighting to be in the top 6, so they got one less game to play. Missouri State is in 5th, but they don't want to go on a losing streak and fall to 7th, and now they've got to play an extra ball game. So then you get above that, and they're fighting for the top 2 because there's an advantage in the top 2. And Sam Houston and Missouri State and Middle Tennessee and FIU are all within arm's reach of being in the top 2, and La Tech is pretty much guaranteed they're going to be the number 1 seed now. It's fun to look at the standings and go through all that. And I guess it's nice that there's still things to play for. I say that, but I know you would trade with La Tech if you could when you're just sitting there and you're going, all right, we're just kind of playing it out. We know we got the number 1 seed, but the fact that there's a lot to fight for, does that maybe add a little extra fire to a team this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, just from a coaching perspective, you always want to have reason to play, incentive, with the tight schedule standings. It's like a bottleneck. I think, from second place, may have 4 or 5 losses all the way down to, 10 or 11 losses. So, there's like a log jam. So as you said, the top 6 teams only have to play 3 games. 7 or 10 have to play 4 games. So you obviously want to be in the top 6. And then, those top teams, I'm sure they're fighting for the top 2 spots because you get that additional day of rest in between the quarters and the semifinals. So, for us, we have 3 games left, all at home. We want to take advantage of our home court advantage. And, we want to try to obviously stay in the top 6 and even, maybe even move up to 5 or 4. So, those standings are a big deal come tournament time. So absolutely for us, we definitely have a lot to play for. And you want to be playing well going into the tournament as well. You want to have a little momentum going into Huntsville. That always helps your team as well.
You got Missouri State right ahead of you, and you've got the tiebreaker because you've beaten them twice. So there's certainly an opportunity to move up to 5th and even 4th, 3rd. Mathematically, 2nd, I guess, is a possibility. The problem is FIU's currently in 2nd, and they would have the tiebreaker. So you not only have to catch them, but you'd have to pass them, right. which makes it tough. And I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit in the past, and I clumsily asked this question after the game at FIU. That particular road trip, you got to win at Missouri State. You got a loss at FIU. You want to win every game. I wasn't trying to say anything other than that. You want to win every game you play. But in the big scheme of things, the big picture, when you kind of look back at it and you go, okay, that's a tough road trip to go on. You're going all the way halfway across the country, then you're flying halfway back to Miami, all within less than 48 hours as far as game time. 40 hours, I think, or so was the difference in the tip-offs. And then you got to come. Of course, you got to come home too, which is a long travel weekend. You look at that and you go, "That's one going 1-1 is probably average. Not average. 0-2 might be average if you look at how everybody else competed against them over the course of this year. They're 2 very good teams. Maybe 0.5 wins and 1.5 losses would be the average on the season. So you kind of can be happy, okay, we got 1 win out of that trip, but at the same time, you don't want to say that to the team. You don't want to make it seem like, well, we're okay with losing a basketball game, especially the FIU game didn't go well. It was a slow start, got behind 24-0. How do you balance that? You haven't ever had to really think about this too much until now that you've been the head coach, but there's no moral victories, but in a way, going 1-1 on that road trip kind of is a small victory.
Yeah, I always tell the team we don't want wins to camouflage our blemishes, and we definitely don't want losses to camouflage our blemishes. So, I think every coach, their first choice would be to go 2-0 on a road trip, especially a very difficult road trip. But consolation, there's no doubt you'd rather split than go 0-2. You definitely don't want to go 0-2. So, in that regards, after the fact, looking back, reviewing film, you're obviously happy that you split as opposed to going 0-2, which, is possible, especially on the road. Two very good teams. Missouri State's a very good team, especially at home. But we analyzed both games very, very closely. So we analyzed our wins at Missouri State, which was a good win. But, we had some things that we could have done better, needed to work on. And then obviously the FIU game, that slow start really hurt us with regards to the outcome of the basketball game. And, we analyzed what we didn't do well there and some things that we did do well. I mean, I think we pulled back within single digits at one point. So, there was a lot of fight and grit in that game. So, whether we lose or whether we win, we're going to analyze, our strengths and weaknesses and what we did well, what we didn't do well, and how we can improve. Because at the end of the day, it's all about continuing to learn how to win and getting better as a team, because you want to be playing your best basketball in March going into Huntsville.
What was, I guess, the one or two things that stood out to you when you went back and looked at the film of those two games as far as what worked at Missouri State? Actually, both times that you've played them, you've beaten them twice this year. So what has worked in the game plan and the execution against Missouri State? And then on the flip side of that, what has not worked against FIU and I guess the differences between those two teams and the challenges they pose? Well, on one side of the basketball, obviously Missouri State, I mean, that was a phenomenal defensive exhibition. I think we held them to 4 points in one of the quarters. 43, 45 points for the game. So, defensively, we were very locked in, and we did a great job, just defending the paint. We out-rebounded them. So those two categories we did very, very well. Now, down in Miami, FIU, I mean, as you alluded to earlier, 24-0, horrible start, and we got out-rebounded. So, that's a tale of two cities, you know what I mean? You're not stopping them, and you're not out-rebound them. You're not limiting them to one shot per possession, which we did in Missouri. So on the defensive side of the basketball, those are two completely different scenarios there. Obviously, with the FIU scenario, you're probably not going to win that basketball game. And then Missouri State, we shot, I think we were maybe in the high 30s, low 40% for the game. And at FIU, we just couldn't make a shot. Shots that we usually make. We had good looks at the basket. They were packing the paint. We did a good job with the ball movement, skipping the basketball, wide open looks. But I think, we just didn't hit those shots. So, I mean, if you're not making shots, I mean, it's obvious you have to get stops. And then if you're not getting stops and you're not making shots, that's obviously a recipe for disaster. So, obviously that outcome was not in our favor down in Miami. But, on the flip side, Missouri State, we did an excellent job defensively, and we also made some shots. So that obviously makes life a lot easier with regards to getting a win. It seemed like, too, of course, FIU turns everybody over. Missouri State, when they were putting some pressure on, it might have been a few miscues, but you also got some fast break points out of breaking through their pressure when they fell behind in the game and started turning the heat up a little bit. It seemed like the team handled it. It didn't work as well in the FIU game. Was it differences in the pressure that those two teams put on, or was it maybe just not having quite the legs in the second game of that back-to-back? I say back-to-back, but 2 games in 3 days, but in different time zones. Well, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but we did do some comparisons because, as you said, both teams did press. So in the film, we look at, say we're playing against a 1-2-2 pressing defense against Missouri. We do it pretty successfully. We're making passes. I think we threw a long pass to Emmy Stout for a wide open layup. And then we look at the same press versus FIU and, soft pass, lobbing pass, that results into a turnover. So, we don't really talk about legs. We talk about level of intensity. So, if you're not at a 10, if you're not at a level and championship level of intensity, usually, especially specifically versus pressure, that can result into turnovers. I mean, we have to be sharp. Our antennas have to be up. Our passes have to be crisp. We have to come to the ball, meet the ball, short passes. So, when you're not at that level of intensity, we just weren't at that level for FIU. And it seemed like we were at that level for Missouri State. And that's the inconsistency that I'm talking about, that we're trying to minimize, having few and far apart. Unfortunately, at FIU, we had them a little bit too often. I know the folks that are listening and watching in on YouTube, they're probably, they go, they're just, this guy, he is just forcing me to listen to him ramble longer and longer and longer before he's asking the question that everybody wanted him to ask the first 2 seconds of this interview, but that might have been slightly intentional. It helps our algorithm if they watch the first 10 minutes of the show or the first 10 minutes of our conversation here on the show before we ask the question everybody wants to know the answer to is the $10 million question or $6 million question, $64 million. It's a big $1 million question anyway. Avery Mills, and then unfortunately also Malia Alexander has been added to this Ortho Virginia injury report that we talk about each game, and we saw them both. Of course, they travel with the team. We saw them shooting a little bit during warm-ups. I mean, not doing too many cuts or any sort of movement, but just taking some shots, and it seems like they're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. Actually, fortunate for us, as recent as yesterday, they both participated in partial practice. So that was good to have them out there, moving, running, and our support staff is doing an excellent job. I mean, they're with her day and night. She's seeing the doctor. They're both seeing a doctor. So, they're still on a day-to-day basis. No definitive information with regards to if they're playing tomorrow. But like I said, they did practice yesterday, partial practice, but, they're definitely improving. But, it's still day-to-day. They're still under surveillance and how that ankle's recovering and how it feels the next day after working out.
The next game up on the docket is Middle Tennessee. If you look back at the game in Murfreesboro, it was, I don't know, may have just been the perfect storm. They had just lost a game that they, I'm sure, did not expect to lose against Delaware. Rick Insell, I'm sure they had the banner and the buffet and everything ready for celebrating his monumental win, and it didn't happen in the game they were expecting it to happen. So I'm sure they had a rough practice the day after that game. They were fired up in that basketball game. So you kind of ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw, I think, because of all those factors. And again, not making excuses, but you were playing a team that you beat in the championship the year before. You add that in as well. So they were circling, if they had it circled, they had it circled and highlighted on their calendar. And it was a home game for them, and they have a great crowd, and it didn't work out the way the Lady Flames wanted it to work out in that basketball game. Now the script is flipped. You've got them at home. Maybe you'll be a little bit under the radar because their players might, they've already beaten you once this year. So it could be an opposite as far as the scripts. Now you've had this game circled for the last month because of that loss in Murfreesboro. What do you remember back from that game there that needs to be better in order to get them here in Lynchburg?
Well, definitely in that first game at the Glass House. I mean, first of all, they're a very good basketball team, and they're very good in the Glass House. They don't lose too often there. But just with regards to game 2 notes, I mean, we just have to play a little bit harder. They really hurt us inside. They did a pretty good job limiting Emmy Stout's field goal attempts. We definitely need to get her field goal attempts up, and that's obviously going to, making perimeter shots, spacing the floor, moving the basketball. We have to do a better job there. And just taking care of the basketball. We had some unforced turnovers down in Murfreesboro when we played them the first time. And I think we were shorthanded, if I remember correctly. I think Ify didn't play in that game. So, hopefully that, having Ify will help us on the rebounding, help us inside with some paint points and transition. I think, they kind of, They definitely play a little bit harder than us, and I think it kind of took us by surprise. So, but I think we're, as in conference, you're familiar with teams, their strengths and weaknesses, personnel. So, obviously playing at home, we know what's at stake. It's trying to stay in that top 6. So I think our lasers will be focused and lasered in with regard to trying to get the win on tomorrow night.
And I didn't say what the monumental win was down there. It was his 500th win for his career, which is outstanding. I think sometimes, and as a coach, you can kind of appreciate this. We see the Mike Krzyzewskis and the Pat Summits Gino with you're talking 900, 1,000 wins and all this, but 500 is pretty darn good for a career, and see, if you average, next year 25 wins a year, and say how many years were you? How old will you be when you get to 500? Now you got a little bit later start as far as the head coaching side of things, but is that something that in the coaching fraternity that how important is that for somebody like, well, I mean, Coach Kerry Green, and the number that he hit, and now Coach Enzo hits 500, and how big are those moments as far as coaches?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm first year here, but from my experience, just obviously being around a lot of head coaches, I think it's more memorable, more appreciated after the fact. I think when you're in the moment while you're still coaching, obviously, you'll have your wins celebrated when you hit monumental numbers, but when you're in the moment, you're just taking one game at a time, and you're just trying to stack wins one game at a time. And then, after it's all said and done, that 500 mark, that's a remarkable accomplishment. It's something that you look back on and you appreciate it. But I think when you're in the battle, in the midst, in the season, you're just taking one game at a time. Maybe after the season, you might reflect back a little bit more. But during the course of the season, I just think it's one game at a time. You're just trying to stack wins after wins after wins. And then, at the right time, downtime after the season, after you finish, like Coach Green, when you retire, I think that's the time when you really reflect back and appreciate the amount of wins that you have.
And he finished. Coach Green finished up with 591. So I wonder how many. He's had some time to kind of go back and look at some old record books and media guides and go, all right, why didn't I get that 600? I'm going to call. All right, Katie Matera, if you'd have hit these 2 free throws, right, that'd have been 592. And then he calls up Crystal Peace. If you'd have it's like, I should have had 600. But I'm obviously joking about all that. The amount of players that have come through and allowed Kerry Greens and Rick Enzels or Gino Ariamas or Pat Summits, it's just amazing to kind of think over all those years, all the players that contributed in some way to getting that milestone for Coach Green. It's phenomenal. But the thing that's even more important than that is when he retired, all those players that came back. I mean, there was so many players came from all over the country to that Duke game for his retirement, ceremony and banquet, and they weren't talking about basketball games. Not a single one of them was talking about basketball games. Now, maybe I was with them and go, do you remember that? I might have been the one bringing that stuff up, but they were all talking about the impact that being in his program and at this university, what it made on them, and the fact that they're out being a nurse now or a veterinarian or a missionary or whatever it is that they're doing post graduation. So how, I guess, in your transition from being an assistant coach to a head coach, clearly the X's and O's, there's Kerry Green DNA all in your DNA as far as the coaching side of things. But what did you learn from him as far as the non-basketball stuff?
Oh, that's easy. I mean, at the end of the day, it's basically the Liberty statement. I mean, we're training champions for Christ, and it's about impacting lives, getting people to get to know the Lord, strengthening relationships, their spiritual growth, social growth, academic growth, athletic growth, obviously. But it's definitely the relationships, the impact that, I want to have on these ladies' lives, eternal impact. And, you want them to be champions for Christ, whether they're playing basketball after college or they're going into the work field, becoming wives, becoming mothers, that's, and as you alluded to, it's about the relationships, all those alumni that came back to support Coach Green, that retirement party that we had for him. It was just the relationships over the years that were established and the impact that he had on their lives and they had on Coach Green's lives. So, these players, they impact my life as well. I mean, they're like all my daughters. I mean, it's just an extension of my family. So for me, that's really what it's all about. You want to just grow as a family. You want to love one another. You want to pray for one another. A family that prays together stays together. And, this is just an extension of my family. And that's what it's about.
Well, I took us on a rabbit trail, a fun rabbit trail, but I got us off track as usual. So we'll close with this last little thing. We talked about Middle Tennessee. I know as far as the girls are concerned, they're only focused on playing middle at this point. Western Kentucky is an afterthought until the game with the Lady Raiders is over. But just for the fans, give them a little bit of maybe an appetizer of what they can expect in that second game of the weekend against Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough game down there when we played them. They have a lot of players. They have that unique style, that 5 out. You know what I mean? Their post players, their 4 and their 5 are their top leading scorers. Usually your top scorers are going to be your guard, your shooting guard, your 3 guard. But, Kader, at the 4 and their 5 player, they do a really good job stretching the floor. So just defensively, we'll have to really focus on transition defense. They like to play fast. They're coming off of a big win, and they shoot the ball well. So our perimeter defense will have to be very, very sharp. And obviously, we have to control the rebounding. We're going to have to win the rebounding battle there and take care of the basketball. And I think, we're trying to take advantage of our home court advantage that we have, but, it's going to take limiting them to 1 shot per possession, rebounding the basketball, and then, taking care of the basketball. And again, as I always say, if you make a couple of shots, that obviously makes life a lot easier as well.
You talk about the home court advantage. Important to get the fans out. They've got 3 more chances to see you here, 2 this week, and then 1 the following week on Friday against Delaware. And I know they make a big impact on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 3 home games left. So if you haven't seen us yet, or if you have 3 more opportunities to check us out. Our ladies are going to play hard. They're going to play the right way. And I'm sure we'll put a good show out there for the fans to appreciate. So come on out and support us.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Jamie.
If you want information on how you can get tickets to those games, or if you want to follow along, go to libertyflames.com, click on women's basketball, and all that information is at your fingertips. You can also find us on the social media accounts, Instagram, X, Facebook. We'll get you as much info as we can. Paul Carmody always has those great game notes that they post as well. So if you need to know anything about Liberty basketball, those are the ways to connect with us. Liberty Flames app, too. That's a great way to listen to the games if you want. If you're driving around in your car, put it on the Bluetooth, and you can listen to the ball game right there on the Liberty Flames app, and then also get all the pregame and postgame information as well. Until we talk again on Thursday night when the Lady Flames take on Middle Tennessee, this is Jamie Hall saying so long and God bless.
You've been listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show with Head Coach Alexis Sherard on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Today's show has been presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show has also been brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. Carter Bank. Life lived full. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Lynchburg Nissan. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. Rogers Heating and Cooling, servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. And by the United States Space Force. Liberty Flames Basketball is an exclusive presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.